What's up, everybody? Welcome. I know. We are going to talk today about the two biggest mistakes I see dog owners making. This has been a consistent thing that I've seen from all the training I've done. Mostly pet dogs, but working dogs alike. The most consistent two mistakes I see. All right, so the first one. This one, for some reason, seems to be a lot of people are surprised by this one, but once you hear it, you're like, oh yeah, that's totally common sense. So the first one is lack of structure in the home. The first session I do with clients when I'm speaking with them, one of the first few questions I ask is, does your dog have any rules in the home? And most people, their face are like, oh shit, and they start thinking. And as soon as I see them thinking, I'm like, okay, that's kind of my answer right there. Right? Because if you ask me if my dogs have rules in the home, I can name you rules off the bat. Right? Slaying on the couch. Well, I try to hold them to that. No stealing of each other's toys. No stealing of each other's balls or food. You guys have to stop playing when I say stop playing. Right? Honestly, my dogs don't have so many rules, but that's because my dogs are very well behaved. The more well behaved you are, the more I let you do. Right? Like this right here. If the client was like, hey, my dog resource guards me and my dog growls at my husband when my husband approaches, I wouldn't allow this right here. They're showing poor behavior, and this freedom right here could affect that poorly. Dogs are different than people, okay? This is sweet to me. I love this, right? I'm like, oh, they love lay with me. Some dogs could start becoming possessive with people if they have access to them 24/7, right? And this goes the same thing with your yard. Your dog has access to the yard 24/7, access to the home 24/7, wherever they want, whenever they want. They begin thinking okay, this is my territory. And dogs are naturally territorial, especially depending on the genetics. And that's where we could get some pretty severe reactivity within the territory because the dog has access to it. Now, if the dog also has 24 access to the person, they get to jump on me whenever they want. They get to lay on top of me whenever they want. They get to paw me for attention. They get to do all this stuff. The dog starts feeling like, okay, I kind of control you also. Right? And again, I'm just putting this in words so you guys understand. The dogs don't really see that. The dogs are a little bit different, but the dog thinks like, okay, I control you also. You play when I make you want to play. You touch me when I make you want to touch me. You allow me to do whatever I want. And there's not many rules, right? I know, my girl, you have to relax. And there's not many rules. So if you don't have that structure and those rules and those boundaries in the home, the relationship could kind of get thrown off, right? And for a lot of people, it tends to be tough for them. Hey, lay down. It tends to be tough for them, right? A lot of people are like, well, I don't want to be mean. And I always use the example of if you set boundaries with your partner, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, is that being mean? Or is that just being really good at communicating? Like, hey, I don't like when you go out to the bar till 2 a.m. and your phone dies. Y'all know about that one. That's not a good excuse, y'all. But you would set a boundary. And that if your partner was like, well, that's mean, you're setting a boundary, tell me how you feel, and you're trying to hold me accountable to it, that's not a good partner, and that's not a healthy relationship. And that's kind of the other downfall. People think okay, if I set these rules for my dog, that's going to be mean to my dog, and my dog's not going to like me anymore. Again, I switch it back into the partner metaphor. If you setting a boundary with your partner is enough to get your partner to break things off and be like, you know what, I don't want to be with you, I don't like you anymore, that's not a good relationship to begin with. So if my relationship with my dog, if I disagree with them or I don't allow them to do something and my relationship shambles, that tells me we didn't have the strongest relationship as I thought. Right? And the reality is, sure, the dogs don't always love the structure, but they thrive off the structure. I don't always love going to the gym, but I thrive when I go to the gym. I don't always love eating healthy, but I thrive when I eat healthy, right? So it can't be this concept of, well, if my dog doesn't want to do it, I don't want them to do it. And if my dog wants to do it, I have to allow them to do it. If your dog has no rules inside the home and they're bouncing off the walls, they're barking at the windows, they're running wherever they want, they're doing whatever they want, and then you go outside and you're like, okay, come on, Fluffy, you need to listen to me now. Heel, come down. And Fluffy's like, dude, I don't even listen to you at home. What do you mean I gotta listen to you outside? And where does the dog spend majority of their life? At home. So if your dog is misbehaving and not listening and getting away with all these things without the structure, rules, and consistency, good luck outside. Because your dog's going to give you the biggest middle finger, because now your dog's going to be even in more drive. Your dog sees dogs, people, smells, and all these other things that make the dog not want to pay attention to you even more, that aren't available in the home, right? So my first session with a lot of the clients is explaining the importance of structure within the home and the downfall of not having structure in the home, right? But it's super valuable for the relationship. I'm telling you, it's like the first place I always start with clients. All right. And that could look so much as, you don't get to go on the couch until I say so. You don't get to come on my bed till I say so. You don't get to go into the kitchen. Sometimes you're tethered up and you're tied up to a door with your bed right there, and you got to stay in that corner. Sometimes you have to stay in your crate. Sometimes you have to stay on your bed, right? Like making sure that the dog is able to do the things that they don't want to when they don't want to. And the thing that'll help you out the most with that is a leash. I could tie the dog up with the leash. Dog jumps on the couch. I could grab the leash. Nope. Pull the dog off the couch. Same thing with the bed. If the dog paws me for attention, I could go no, and I could move the dog away from me, right? But that communication is going to be so important for your dogs. That lack of structure and boundaries is how we get relationships within the dogs kind of twisted, right? Like that lack of boundary that you have with that one partner. That partner is going to take advantage of you, right? And this is the ugly reality of dogs. You could be as nice as you want to the dog, and they're never going to look at you like, you know what, mom? Because you were so nice to me today, you let me jump all over you, you let me bark at the window, you let me do anything I wanted today, I'm going to behave for you, and I'm not going to be reactive, and I'm not going to resource guard you, and I'm not going to do these. It'll never happen. It's just not the nature of the dog. The dog's always going to look for ways to take advantage of you. And the structure isn't a forever permanent thing, right? As you see, the more behaved my dog is and the better our relationship, the better things are going, the more freedom I'm going to give them. They don't wait until I tell them to come on the couch. They come on whatever. But if they start misbehaving, if they start guarding me, guarding the couch, I'm going to remove that. And I'm like, no, that's not available anymore, right? And I think some structure is healthy, for sure. But it doesn't have to be as intense as it was as when you first started. Like, I want my dog to have the freedom. But with freedom comes responsibility, right? And so I need to be responsible, make sure my dog can handle this much freedom, and making sure it's not going to create any issues within our relationship. The end goal is I don't want to manage my dog. I want them to do whatever they want, right? As long as they know what they're not supposed to do. And then that's where the beginning structure, rules, and boundaries comes into play, right? So it's not a forever thing. It's not a permanent thing. It's just until we fix the relationship, right? And this is why I like applying this structure real young to my dogs right away when they're puppies. Like, I'm applying it to them. Tethering, I'm not letting them bite me all crazy, right? Like, I'm applying it right away. That way I don't have to do it when they're older, right? There'll be a teenage phase we have to kind of work through, but for the most part, I don't have to mess with it when we're older, right? So this is the biggest thing, and this is something that, like, you could start today, right now. You don't need to teach it to your dog. You don't need a lure. You don't need to do anything. You literally could start structured today, right now, after you watch this video. And you will see your dog change. I'm telling you, you will see your dog change inside and outside. So many of the dogs I train are just night and day just from that. They're like, wow, like they're responding so much better to me outside. They're less impulsive, right? Like, it's just, it creates the expectation that we want outside.